Hey guys, it's Dave. Welcome back to another video. First of all, sorry if you can hear a little bit of a low-grade humming or rumble getting picked up by the microphone. There's some kind of construction going on right outside, and it's a bit frustrating, but hopefully they'll finish soon. Today we have a bunch of RocketLab news to go into. There's all sorts of stuff happening lately, and I just wanted to update everyone on the latest news and developments with the company. If you're new here, please do consider hitting like and subscribe as I come back with RocketLab content and analysis all the time. We also cover all sorts of investing topics on this channel. So let's hop into the RocketLab news. First of all, just going over the stock price today, we did have a nice little up day where we popped about 2%. That's in comparison to the NASDAQ, which was only up 0.1%, so a nice little outperformance there. Also, it seemed to outperform a lot of the stocks it traditionally trades with, so a little bit of a good couple days for the stock. And even yesterday we were up something like 5%, so definitely a good couple days. The stock's starting to move in the right direction here. I'm actually a little sad about that because I want to add some more shares in the threes. So yeah, I guess I'm kind of selfishly hoping that I'll get another chance to add some in the threes, but I might even add some more at these levels as I try to build out a larger position in the company, and I still feel pretty good about its valuation today. Zooming out to a one-year chart of the stock, it looks like we might be starting to establish a bit of a bottom down here at around the high threes, although we have kind of been fooled in the past and had temporary bottoms before we drop lower, so you never know for sure. I think it really comes down to the inflation numbers in the Fed, so definitely keep an eye on the CPI data when it comes out, and really just see what the market has in store for us. Of course, still completely confident in the long-term future of the company, regardless of these macro market situations we're going through right now. Continuing on, we had a tweet from NASA here where the Capstone spacecraft successfully completed its first trajectory correction maneuver, which is one of a series of thruster burns over the next few months to more accurately target its orbit to the moon. So they were successfully able to reestablish contact with that Capstone spacecraft launched by RocketLab. Very exciting to see that all that work wasn't for nothing and they were able to reestablish contact. This was a bit of a difficult situation for NASA, and as our friend Bastian pointed out in the comments in one of the previous videos, maybe this will even lead to more business for RocketLab as they executed their portion of the mission absolutely perfectly, and the technical difficulties arose with the third-party satellite provider and operator, so RocketLab does have the capabilities to build and operate these spacecraft, and perhaps in the future NASA or other customers will opt for the full integration and get RocketLab to do everything, including building the spacecraft, which could result in more missions and revenue. Of course, it's all speculation, but nevertheless, we are extremely happy to see that this spacecraft has been recovered. Just a bit more background information on that Capstone project. As the team continued to, this information is coming from the satellite provider, by the way. As the team continued to review data on the anomalies such as this are rarely a result of a single issue, but instead are the result of a series of issues that converge in an unexpected way. For Capstone, this series of events began during the commissioning within an improperly formatted command that triggered a radio vulnerability and was compounded by a spacecraft flight software contingency response fault. The spacecraft was ultimately recovered by the team as a result of autonomous flight software system operations that cleared the fault and brought the system back into communication with the ground. During the communications outage, the spacecraft autonomously operated, maintained pointing, battery charge, and performed a momentum desaturation maneuver. Up next for Capstone spacecraft is a second trajectory correction maneuver planned for Saturday, July 9th at approximately 9:30 a.m. This second maneuver will be much smaller than the first and will demonstrate the ability of the Capstone spacecraft to perform very small and precise maneuvers, a capability that is critical to operations in the near rectilinear halo orbit where it will arrive in November. Next up, an exciting announcement that the next mission for Electron and RocketLab will be called WISE 1 Looks Ahead. It is going to launch no earlier than July 12th, 2022 from Launch Complex Pad 1A in New Zealand. So excited to see that we get that new launch scheduled coming up soon. Now, WISE 1 Looks Ahead is the first of 2 back-to-back launches for the National Reconnaissance Office, launching from RocketLab Complex 1 on 2 Electron rockets. RocketLab is scheduled to deploy satellites for the National Reconnaissance Office within 10 days of each other. WISE 1 Looks Ahead will launch from Launch Complex 1's Pad A no earlier than July 12, 2022, with the next launch, Antipodean Adventure, scheduled to launch from Pad B no earlier than July 2022. The 2 missions will carry national security payloads designed, built, and operated by the National Reconnaissance Office in partnership with Australian Department of Defence as part of a broad range of cooperative satellite activities with Australia. The satellites will support the NRO to provide critical information to government agencies and decision makers monitoring the international issues. These twin missions will be a demonstration of responsive launch under NRO's rapid acquisition of a small rocket contract for launching all satellites through a streamlined commercial approach. They are the 3rd and 4th missions contracted to RocketLab by the NRO under the contract. Previous mission was successfully deployed to space on a dedicated Electron launch in early 2022, followed by RAS-2 on another Electron launch in June 2020. Now, these will be the quickest back-to-back Electron launches that have ever been sent into space. Next up is an exciting announcement by RocketLab that they're going to be making it easier for commercial and government satellite operators to access 24/7 rapid call-up launch capability and streamlined satellite build and operation options. They're calling this initiative Responsive Space, which is space on demand. The program will on-ramp customers by creating tailored, responsive launch and satellite development solutions, granting them access to RocketLab's rapid, 24-hour call-up launch service and satellite build capability. Satellites are vulnerable to natural degradation, accidents, technical failure, and deliberate actions. Unexpectedly losing the vital services and capabilities of these satellites has far-reaching consequences back home on Earth. In today's dynamic environment, the ability to establish new technologies on orbit is also crucial to providing time-critical insights to Earth observation and space domain awareness missions, said RocketLab founder and CEO Peter Beck. We recognize our customers need a reliable, responsive launch service and dependable satellite solutions that can promptly and accurately restore or establish assets on orbit, so we've made that possible with Electron and RocketLab designed and built satellites, including Photon. Through the Responsive Space program, RocketLab works directly with satellite operators to understand their mission requirements, which may be dedicated rapid call-up launch, satellite design, build and integration, spacecraft operations, or all of the above. Once details, including reference orbits, payload, and integration specifications are confirmed, RocketLab develops a tailored, responsive mission plan for each customer. From that point on, RocketLab remains in a state of readiness with rockets and satellites on standby, waiting notice from the customer to integrate and launch. From arrival at the launch site, payload integration, encapsulation, and launch can be completed in as little as 24 hours. RocketLab's ability to deliver responsive space is underpinned by 4 key aspects. Number 1 is responsive rockets. Electron is designed for standardized, rapid production. Supported by vertical integration, automation, and established production complexes, a rocket can be assigned a payload for launch on demand in a matter of days. The second is responsive launch sites. RocketLab operates 3 launch pads across 2 hemispheres, ensuring a pad is always available to support rapid call-up launch, even as planned launch operations continue in parallel on other pads. Number 3, responsive satellites. Whether it's 1 or 100 satellites, RocketLab can design, manufacture, launch, and operate configurable satellites tailored to each customer's mission. To support responsive launch, to support responsive replenishment of orbital assets, these satellites can be built and kept in a state of launch readiness, awaiting integration with the customer payload and launched on demand either on Electron or alternative launch vehicles. Fourth is responsive personnel. RocketLab's launch team is highly experienced. Electron has become the second most frequently launched U.S. orbital rocket. This deep heritage across launch engineers, mission managers, and launch operations has resulted in streamlined, proven launch systems and processes that the team can execute rapidly and reliably. And now for our final bit of news, RocketLab has announced the date of their second quarter 2022 financial results and earnings call. On Thursday, August 11th, 2022, RocketLab will host a conference call at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time going over their second quarter results, and you can be sure that I'll be there shortly after breaking down all the data and covering it for you. That's all the news for RocketLab we have today. I, for one, am pretty excited to see these back-to-back launches happening in such quick succession. Really goes to show how quickly they're able to launch into orbit with their multiple launch sites. As well, I think this new program is a great new initiative to be able to launch satellites quickly into orbit. I know things are happening so quickly in the world these days, like when the situation in Ukraine arose, suddenly people needed satellites over Ukraine. I mean, all sorts of things can happen where people need satellites on demand really quick, and this is a great way for RocketLab to be able to provide that sort of capability. Very few other providers are able to provide that kind of a response time, so exciting to see this news. What do you guys think? Are you happy about the announcements? Are you bullish about the stock? Are you buying more right now or just holding on for the ride? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.